Hello everyone, Carolina Tony here. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today I am in Kinston, North Carolina, and we are going to look at a Confederate battleship and a replica of a Confederate battleship. And when we leave here, we're heading over to Plymouth, North Carolina to look at another replica of a battleship. And we're gonna do that and look around Kinston, but right after this station identification. Speaking of replicas, here is a replica of an old-time gas station. I was by here the other night and there were some real old cars parked out front. Looks like there's some remodeling going on this morning. I believe they are, well, they're pulling up the gas pumps. Goodness gracious. This is a replica of the CSS Neuse 2 full-scale ironclad ship. So, the real thing. And this is a replica of the real thing. You see the side is made up of wood, and when this thing was setting in the water line would be all the way up to the metal, and it is huge. And it's only open on Saturdays from 10 to 4, and today's not a Saturday, so as luck would have it, I miss out. Those metal ports there and over there, they would be rolled back, and that's where the cannons would be. You see how it's streamlined to cut through the water. There's one of the props out of the back. Check this out. That's real iron rudder. It is huge and thick too. This thing is awesome. Sometimes it's hard to just understand how big these things were when you look at pictures and books and things. And of course, compared to battleships today, this thing is just a little small boat. But back then, it was really big. This is the original CSS Neuse, laid in the bottom of the river for over 100 years after being burnt by her own men to keep her from falling into the hands of the enemy. Here are some of the tools the shipbuilder would use. That's a swag block. Hot iron rods were inserted into the black holes and shaped into armor bolts, such as these. Not a whole lot of light in here. A part of the ship was all wood. That would be sunk all the way down to the water level. The casemate, which would be there, that's the iron part, that would be the only thing that would be visible above the water. And this actually is a part of the casemate. Over that was iron. But here's a diagram so you get an idea just how thick these things were. The inside part was 13 by 12 pine timbers, and then another layer of 5-inch thick pine planking, and then a 4-inch thick oak vertical planking, then horizontal iron plating and vertical iron plating. So you can see that thing was pretty thick, but it had to be because, remember, cannonballs being shot at it. There were 4 vents in the casemate that allowed fresh air to get to the bottom of the ship. This is actually one of them right here. Thick iron. So when the Neuse was floating in the river, this is actually what you would see above the river. Just this much, look. About a foot. And there's the deck itself. And all that being iron. And the gun inside could be rotated from side to side. But just look how thick those walls were. Oh, this is really cool. We are inside the casemate. And if this thing is actual built to scale, it'll been twice as long as what this is, because this is only half of it. But you can see the cannon is on wheels, and it could pivot by the use of the blocking tackle from there over to here. Would be pulled to swing the cannon around to fire out the very front or the left or right side. And I'm not going to call on the port or starboard because right now I'm confused as to what port and starboard is. I believe this is the port side. And of course, this catwalk type thing in the middle would be where the pilot would stand and actually steer the ship by looking out the little holes. Just small enough to see out, just big enough to see out, but not big enough to let a cannonball in, unless it was a small one. And there's what one of the shells looks like cut away. Early in this video, I showed where we actually walked under the back of the reproduction, and this is back of the original. Right there is where the propeller shaft would have came through. This is an actual ship stove. The rings would be used to anchor it to the deck to prevent it from moving around while the ship was underway. This is from around 1863. This is a diagram so you can actually see how the ship was arranged and powered. This would have been below deck where the firebox and boiler and all would have been. And of course the engine, and this would have been the part where the cannons were, which is the main deck above water, and of course the pilot would stand there. In comparison to looking at it this way, the pilot would have been up here where the main deck there. Here's the ship from above. This wrought iron that's suspended from the ceiling is actually what would have been above the water. These ships were designed to be in rivers and in bays and not far off the coast, they had a flat bottom. They really wasn't designed for sea travel. It's pretty cool. See the guns in the front and in the back. And they can be turned on either side as well. It is where I will be staying tonight. Old retro hotel. This is a retro motel that I'm staying tonight in New Bern, North Carolina. Check out those 1960s colors. Look at this bathroom. It's a room. They have made it where you have to come through a gate to get to your rooms for security purposes. But wait, check this pool out. Of course, it's not heated. But hey, you would think you were in Florida somewhere, wouldn't you? On a beautiful moonlit night. The Albemarle is on the Roanoke River in Plymouth, North Carolina. And there is Plymouth. Of the CSS Albemarle that saw its first action in 1864. Now, this is quite a good sized boat here, but the original was 158 feet long and 35 foot wide. This is a replica of a 6.4 inch Brook rifle cannon. A cannon just like this would have been on the Albemarle. There were actually two guns just like this on the Albemarle. All right, it's time to get her underway. Thank you for coming along with me. I really appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to go down below. Give me a big old thumbs up. Be sure to tell your family and friends. But for now, y'all have a good day.